Nigel, is this almost an ideal game where you can sort of get a lot of the anger and frustration of last week's first half out of the way and start well in this game?
Potentially. It's been a very brutal week within our environment, as you can imagine. A lot of home truths, and basically due to the fact that that performance, and particularly the first half performance, was just completely unacceptable. And I take full responsibility for that, and the players have to react to that now. And it's a huge game for us, regardless of what had happened on the weekend, or regardless of what type of season we have. I think that the Gloucester Bath game is the biggest game of our season.
And it's quite a simple message you were trying to convey after the game, that they need to play rugby in the way that you want them to play. They need to have the ball in hand. And is that a simple message to get across to the boys this week?
Yeah, amongst other things. But the frustrating thing for us all, and no more so than for me, is that we've shown that we can play attractive open rugby and be reasonably successful at that. The one thing we can't do is go into our shells and not play, and that's what we did, particularly in that first half. And we paid the consequence of that. On top of that, we just weren't in the right frame of mind, and that's something that I take very personal, and I expect all my teams to turn up and play for the shirt. We didn't do that. But on the back of that, and you don't like to have these weeks because they are quite brutal, but I think we've moved on as a group very quickly. There's been a lot of guys from within the group sticking their hands up and making some very good and clear comments, and we expect a big performance for ourselves on Saturday.
And you describe it as the biggest game of the season. Could it be even louder than last season, because you were blown away by your first experience of a West Country derby at Kingsholm last season?
Yeah, I'm sure it will. I think it's a great occasion. There's a sellout crowd. There's a lot of frustration around, certainly in our camp, and it's a great opportunity for us against our traditional rivals.
And their away record is very good of late, isn't it?
They've got a good record. Interestingly, if you look at the last 9 games played in the league, and we just took those points into account, we'd be 1 point behind them. So form-wise, in terms of the league, there's not much between the teams. They're obviously playing, a side that have been able to achieve a lot more than us this year overall, and you've got to give them credit for that. Off the back of not such a successful year the year before, so they've come a long way, and they play some good rugby. They've got dangerous rugby players all around the park, and they've got a solid platform to play off. So very, very good side, and it's a huge challenge for us. And you're not just going to rely on blood and guts to get a result here. We've got to be very technical, good and proficient, and also bring that level of intensity and commitment.
And you mentioned the form guide. Well, how much confidence can you take for that, and belief as you go for that 7th spot?
Well, it's very difficult to know with how we are as a team right now, because we're so up and down. We put in some big performances, we put in some terrible performances. But I'm expecting a big performance on Saturday. I'm expecting a big reaction, and I'm expecting the players to go out there and show everything that they didn't show last weekend.